So if we take the technical staff as a whole, as you can see, you've got the head coach and we had 4 assistants there. Now, what I quickly realized is that the assistants will all feed into the head coach. And obviously, the manager or the head coach has got a lot of stimulus, external stimulus. He's got players to look after. He's got transfers on his mind. He's obviously got training sessions that are at the forefront of his mind daily. So for us to try and make a change, it could be difficult for us to go direct to the manager. So how can we do this better? And one of the things I did realize is that the assistant coach or one of the assistant coaches would travel with the managers to and from training. So there was a time period of around 45 minutes to an hour where there was a discussion opportunity. So I built a relationship with that assistant coach, which allowed him to then feed into the manager some of the differences or alterations to training that we were trying to make. And that generated a buy-in because things that we would want from a training session maybe a week down the line, the nuances and the differences of that training session from a physiological point had already been drip fed to the manager. So in his mind, there was changes that were already going to take place, and it wasn't a surprise when we raised that conversation with the manager because an assistant coach had already been drip feeding that information into him. So some of the key things we were trying to do, and again, it was very new at the time and new for everybody, and we quickly realized that if we could expose the players to an intensity a blocks of intensity that were above game load, then they were going to be exposed to a physiological adaptation above what they were required to do in the game. So the game was going to become easier. A big one for us was regular high-speed exposure and high-speed exposure daily. Another one was getting players to be exposed to above 90% of max speed, and we did that through some runway drills, which were just 30 meters where players would just go all out for 30 meters and really get some max speed efforts. Another one was by zone 6 we mean sprinting, a dose a week, and there'd be days where we just get the boys to just do a substantial amount of work within that zone to ensure that when the game comes, we had exposed the players to the uncontrollable aspects of football. Now, the reason I show this is the manager initially found this difficult to understand, and especially from an intensity point of view, he couldn't see how the intensity of this nature was going to benefit the players. So one thing we did try and do is show him from a different aspect, so not just an external load, but from an internal load point of view.